Hey, I don't usually work on German stuff, but when I do, it's a Grundig 8080. Now, I had one of these about 5 years ago, and I ended up doing a different turntable. Let me just let's see if this, it's got a bit of a hum as you can hear, but it works. Obviously the hum is caps. I hope that music's cleared. Anyway, we'll turn it over to, but yeah, you can hear the bit of a hum there. If you turn it over to pickup, which is the phono section, and we've got a PE Rex here. Now, the one I did about 5 years ago, I ended up putting I think it was a Telefunken 504 with a stereo cartridge that I made into mono. This is a mono unit. It's got 3 speakers. It's got a big weird size 610 or some weird size speaker in there, which we'll address later because we've got to put a new surround because I guarantee you the foam's all deteriorated. But yeah, but this is a PE Rex. It's actually a very cool turntable, and I'm going to show you how it works right now. So yeah, you can load about 8 records, I think, and that kind of strange disc on top there is what keeps it all together. But it's the old tap tap, which Claro ended up, I think, stealing from ELAC or copying. Anyway, this is the strange part. Boom. And down. Like I said, it's a mono unit. And let's see if that cartridge still, it's crystal. Yeah. That's full volume, so it's pretty weak. So yeah, that's pretty cool. It's gonna be a bit of a dilemma though, because I am not going to transplant a different turntable this time. This one works great. It's gonna need some belts and servicing, what have you, some new rubber here and there. But the problem with this guy, it is a crystal cartridge, and they are, I believe, PE 10s or 8s or KST 9s or whatever you wanna, whoever manufactured them. And as you can see, it slips into this carrier head shell right here. And I've got to get something different in there, probably a P51, the new mono ceramic. So I've got to get that in there somehow, because there's no point even trying to find one of these NOS, because it's just going to fail. They're 60 years old, because I think this unit is 1956, 57. So we got to update it somewhat, and I really want to keep that turntable because it's just too cool. It's got some documentation here, and it's in English, which is great. I've never seen one in English, only in German. So that's a plus. So yeah, so somehow we're going to get this guy playing way better than it just was with a more modern ceramic. Obviously, we're not going to go magnetic because preamps and stuff, because it's mono, and we're going to stay like that. I actually love listening to mono records, especially jazz. I just love how it all comes together as it was recorded probably back in the day. A lot of jazz was, recorded in mono. Anyway, there you go. It's a Grundig 8080, and we're going to restore her. Okay, let's talk woodwork. This is not going to be a full-on strip job. I actually it's got a little bit of nice patina on it, if you know what I mean. It's got a few dings here and there. We'll address those. That's a shame, a little ding there, but you can't really tell. But yeah, but as you can see, it's got some good old-fashioned wear and tear on top. And what I think I'll do is I'm just going to really lightly sand this with 220 grit, just the top surface, and see if I can just clean this all up, and this, this dark dirt right here, but pretty much leave everything else as original. I'll clean it up, maybe with some naphtha and some scourer, and then I'll re-oil it. But I'm just going to keep it. I think it has character. And I don't really want to strip the whole thing. It's got stuff like this, which we'll address as well. But yeah, that's what we're going to do wood-wise. Okay, so moving around to the back here to start taking stuff apart. I just thought I'd show you how thin that veneer is. It's probably 1/16. So when we do some sanding, we're going to be super careful that we don't go through it. As you can see, it's just particle board. That's all it is, just particle board. I mean, they were pretty cheaply made, but expensive to buy. So this cover's got to come off. 1, 2, 3. They kind of slide and this pops off. Oh, do not remove. We will remove that connector. Oh yes, we will. And this, and then this board's got to come off. This backboard, because the chassis in there is mounted from underneath some screws. We'll also take this off to get to the underside of the record changer, even though there's screws on top to get that out. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. And look, there's got a loudspeaker connection here and some kind of remote control thing. But look at this, check this guy. With a line called Hi-Fi Dual Acousticon. I got a funny feeling that was for a powered speaker. Anyway, just a funny feeling. Oh, and talking about connections, we talked about these guys. So we've got the phono pickup here. As you can see, it's mono, just the positive and the ground right there. But then we've got this guy, tape recorder. That's a 3-pin DIN. I don't know what DIN means, but all the German stuff are called DIN. Interesting to find out, I guess. But anyway, there's a special connector that you can get, and we can plug a Bluetooth in there. It'll be mono Bluetooth, but hey, not bad, huh? Okay, we've got the back covers off. Very clean chassis. Kind of a simple one from the look of it. Not sure what those output tubes are. Little guys. That's probably a EABC or something like that. They've got EF89. I don't have a tube chart for this one, so I do have a schematic, but it's in German probably. But anyway, it'll all help. And then underneath, yes, we have that weird shape. I'm not sure what size it is again, but you have to custom make a gasket for it. And it's nice that they gift wrapped it for you. And I'm not sure why they put the cloth around it, but it's very interesting. And then we've got 2 mid-ranges. They're good speakers, very good speakers, and electrostatics right there. So hopefully they work. Yeah, this is that whole, it's like some kind of choke system or something for that other powered speaker, I think. I'll do some more investigating, but I'll definitely replace that because you never know, somebody might plug one into here one day. Yeah, so, oh, and yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we can pull this out. Now there will be a ground strap on here somewhere. There's probably some tin foil underneath here and some grounding strap, but that's always, you try to pull it out and it hangs you up, but we'll check that out. All right, so we've got those 4 mounting screws out. Let's see if I can just slide this out. Why is it sticking? It's probably because there's on rubber grommets, and they're stuck to the metal. Right, let's see if I can take this out and see if that ground strap's on there or not, and it'll hang me up. Yep, no foil, no ground strap. And there you go. Yeah, you see there's those isolation grommets and stuck there with some paint on it, what have you. That's what prevents it. Now these are now loose, so be careful you don't lose them because you're going to want them when you put it back. Hey, here's a top tip for you. Do you remember these rubber isolation, these rubber mounts here that came off? Glue them back on with some good old-fashioned wood glue, because I guarantee you when you're trying to slide that chassis in, they will not stay there. So put a bit of glue and glue them back on. Okay, so we got on the bench here. It's very, very clean. These are burned out. This has some more stuff on top. I kind of wiped it, but it was starting to leak. So that's your power can right there. So that's probably where most of the hum came from. So yeah, we're gonna do some checkouts. I probably won't remove the glass because sometimes when you remove the knobs, which are screwed, where's the screw? There it is. When you try to put them back on, they strip out easy. These are fragile now because they're just very old. I won't say Bakelite, but they're definitely a fragile plastic. There's another screw there, as you can see. So because this is clean, I'm not going to take these off and just clean the front to avoid damage. These are all working very nicely, the tone controls. Sometimes they snap and they're stuck, but they're all moving very nicely. This has been very well looked after. It's been stored nicely, not in a damp environment. I tried to find a schematic. I have my other Grundig file, but with all this stuff here, there's not a schematic for an 8080. It's got lots of catalogs and mostly German stuff in here. So I did go to Radio Museum and download their schematic, which is great. It's in German. I'm sure there's an English one out there, but gives you a rough idea. I did some more investigate on this dual acousticon. Couldn't find anything on it on the interweb. I thought it was a powered speaker, but guess what I have here? This is a German catalog from the 1959-60 year. So our unit missed it by a year, I think, or two. I looked at the powered speakers and I could find no reference to acousticon. But how cool is this thing? I mean, just page after page of all the Grundig stuff from that year. And I mean, we've got some big boys right here as well. Where's that beautiful Majestic? That guy. Wow, I had one of those back in the day. Amazing sound. And all this like lacquered veneer. Very, very gorgeous. Anyway, this has got a lot of stuff in from post-war Germany when they were really, really cranking this stuff out. So very, very cool. What else? That's that. I'm going to flip this over and show you what's on the other side. Okay, so we got it flipped over and there they are. The infamous wax paper caps. You can just see that wax just kind of bubbling away there. Very leaky, very leaky. Now we're going to replace all those. This is actually one of the simplest Grundig's German stuff I've ever seen, because usually there are layers of capacitors and resistors and you have to take out good stuff to get to the bad stuff. It can be very labor intensive, but this is pretty damn simple for me. And yeah, that'll go. Now when I first started out, I didn't used to replace these guys. I think they're polymer, ceramic of some polyester, probably polyester. I didn't used to replace them because everybody said, oh, they're going to be good. But I don't know, man. I mean, this is like 100 years old. Just kidding. So I think I'm going to replace these guys. And there's not really a ton of them. And then it'll be really, really tip top. There's really not many electrolytics either. That's one right there. So yeah, that's what we're going to get started on. And yeah, before I get started, the selenium rectifier right there. We're going to replace that with a silicon bridge one and then adjust the B+ voltage accordingly. This might work for many years to come, but if I'm going to pass this on to somebody else, we need to replace this, because when these go, oh boy, do they go, a hell of a smell. And as you can see right now, I'm putting my finger right here. If you've had this thing powered up and then attempt to touch or mess with this, you will get a belt. They store power for quite some time, so that's why I'm not touching with my bare finger. I will use a pair of pliers and discharge it before I take it off. But yeah, that's got to go. Well, I spoke too soon. Now that I've got it up on its back, which is actually good because it's supported by its antenna mount there and the transformer. Normally I have to build a rig, which you might see on other videos, to help it be upside down. But I spoke too soon, because there we go. See tucked down in there? Yeah, an electrolytic. Those guys tucked in there. That's the problem, and this is I've seen way worse than this. So you got to be careful, and sometimes you have to remove some other parts to get that part. I don't think I'll bother showing you me soldering. It'll get very boring, and you will just fast forward through it. But yeah, just a heads up that sometimes you got to dig in there. But you'll see the finished project. But yeah, just so you know, you're gonna have to sometimes bend stuff out the way to get to those guys down in there. And yeah, that deep electrolytic. Sometimes you gotta rewire it a little bit so you can, it's actually accessible. All right, wish me luck. Also, yeah, me and my bright ideas here thinking this was gonna be a little simpler than normal. So you can remember that power can right here? So that's 2 times 2, 100 UFs at 350 volts. And somewhere it says 385, so I've got to replace them with 400s. But look where they mounted it. Right under the transformer. You can't even get to the connection right there to put anything new in. I'm gonna have to do something really freaking creative. I'm gonna have to take this off. There's 1, 2 right there, and somehow probably do a can cut like I've done, you've seen me do in the past. But oh boy, really? Right underneath. Okay. This is why I don't work on German stuff much anymore, especially not for other people. It's just not affordable with the amount of labor that goes in. Fortunately, this one's my unit, so there you go. I've undone the mounts there for the transformer, and obviously the transformer is connected underneath right here as well to the other side, for the inputs and outputs of power, what have you. But check this out. I cannot get it out. This is just all jammed in. It won't let me move it. And all I need to do is just tip this up that way slightly, because right underneath there, if you can see, yeah, it's pretty dark, is the connections for the power can. I just don't know how they did it. Well, I know how they did it. They put this in, then they put that in. But oh boy. Now, my first instinct is, well, I'll just bend this back. But then, you know, bending it back to normal would be pretty hard to do, because these are the mounts right here, and I really don't want to mess up the alignment when it goes back in the cabinet. I just don't know what to do. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut right here and cut right here so I can bend this and then tip it up. Maybe I can't. It's just in there, and otherwise, I mean, I can't even disconnect this stuff here. I know I sound like I'm ranting right now because it's just insane. Anyway, let's see what I do. All right, see if I can get this popped off. It's going to be very hot. There we go. Now, I know a lot of you thinking like, what the hell is he doing? And I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm making life a lot easier. You'll notice the mounts are still preserved. I think I actually would do less damage this way than trying to finagle that thing out of there. There we go. Hot and sharp, be careful. Yeah, you could call it a hack job, but I don't think it is. I think it's just a way of doing it quick and easy, and like I said, without causing more damage. All right, let's continue. Okay, I had to do a bunch of wires, undo a bunch of wires up there. Took plenty of photographs as well as this video, but now we can see what I gotta get to down in there. It's not just a couple of wires, there's some other stuff as well. But look at that, another paper cap, wax paper. I'll also be able to, if you can see it, get to that electrolytic right there, and also replace some of these while it's in this state. Yeah, that was the best way, to me, to do this. Otherwise, it wouldn't be a viable project. All right. We chop that bugger off. There you go. Starting to leak. It gets all dried out. God knows what that is. I've seen that before inside. Anyway, we're going to clean this up, drill a couple of holes, and I just ordered the cap, so I'm going to get on with other work first. Okay, so we're kind of halfway through here. We placed a lot of caps, still some of all these to do. Getting rid of the wax paper first. I rerouted those electrolytics because they were basically grounded up underneath here. So I grounded them over here and over here, which is fine. Just to make sure you get the positive end the correct way. Because it's just easier instead of having to thread stuff underneath there. I mean, I just, for the life of me, never understood why they do it. As you can see, more caps here. Got that guy in there. But yeah, more to be done. And yeah, while we're talking about capacitors, let's talk about, okay, German capacitors. There's lots to take note of here. There's a lot of different things to make sure you replace them with the correct ones. As you can see, these wax paper right here, that's a 0.22 with a rating of, that's 125 volts DC, and the wavy line is AC. So as you can see, there's lots to take note of because you don't want to get them mixed up. Let's see, so this guy right here, this 0.22, that's 500 volts DC. There's no wavy line in that one, so they didn't put an AC rating on. So you can get one of these small guys right here. So that's a 0.01, which we're familiar with, but it's rated at 500 DC and 250 AC, because the AC is the wavy line. To get my thing out the way, I can see it better for you. Oh, let's pick that up as well. Tell you what, this is, there you go, 250 volts AC, 500 volts. So you got to be careful you don't get that mixed up. And as you can see right here, there's 0.22 and a 0.1. They're all 630 volts. So that's pretty much everything you'll ever need for a tube unit. The electrolytics right here, they're usually strange. Where is it right here? They're usually strange values. If I can pick it up with my hand maybe. So what we got here, it's 100 UF at 1215. So we know 15 is the DC and 12 is the AC, I guess. But 15 has got the dash after it, the line. Yeah, so what you can do is, I already have a bunch of these kind of in stock. But also you get yourself a nice kit like this for the polypropylenes. I'll open it up. It's pretty much got every value you might need. But just make sure you're aware of the voltages. Not all of them are rated at over 500. Some are 630. So you got to be careful what you use. These smaller guys right here are usually lower in the 400, in the less 400 range. But as you get bigger, the voltage goes up. So yeah, keep an eye on that. Also, you're going to get some really strange values. Let me see if I can find it. This is a 1000 PF. What's that, you might think? Well, what I do is this, is I have a chart. It's kind of taped to a cupboard that I use in the workshop here. And as you can see, it's a conversion chart. I actually got this from some guy's capacitor shop and printed it out. So anyway, 1000 PF. So we're coming down here. And there we go, right there, 0.001. Now, I kind of knew that after doing it a while, but it's very good to know, just to double check yourself. So that was a 1000 PF, there's a 0.001. And then we go back into here, and we'll dig around, and we'll find a 0.01 right there. So good to go. Yeah, so can get confusing. The German stuff normally is. We've got the big can here. So there you go again. This is kind of weird because it's 350 volts with a dash, which is DC. Then it's got 385 volts with a dash. And obviously those words mean something, and you could look that up. Maybe I will. Yeah, I thought I'd jump back into this cut right here to know what these words meant. And Beats, SP, means working or work. So I guess that's the working voltage. But Spitzen means sharpen. So I'm not sure what that means in the German electronic world, but there you go. At 385, I'll go at least to 400. And I said I'm going 450s because they were more readily available. Also, I forgot to mention that on the electrolytics, you'll also get some weird, let's see if I can flip this over and get the right way. So you got a 4 UF right there. You'll get a lot of round numbers valuations on the electrolytic. So 4 UF, you'll go with a 4.7. Going up a little bit is going to be absolutely fine, whereas the other ones here, I can't really see that one, are probably normal and 10 and 100. Where's this guy? That's 100, so you're spot on there. But sometimes you get weird values, and obviously electrolytics are higher on the microfarad scale, as are these guys on the lower part, because they're all 0.1 and what have you. Anyway, just thought I'd jump back into the cut and clarify that. Okay, so we're recapped. There's those 100s. They're actually 450s. Couldn't get 350s. Actually, I don't think I'll get anything but 450s, but hey, bigger's better, right? Put a little rubber spacer there for more insulation. That's actually a Magnavox transport screw spacer. Fits perfectly. I'm actually going to put it back in the console to test it because of the speaker connection right there. I could hook up wires to it, but I think I'd rather plug it in and test it in situ. Okay, shoved it back in. That's what I mean by that connector right there. I could have jumped it and put it on the bench, but why not test it with everything else? Check the fuse good, a rating. I could put it on a variac in case something happened, but it worked before, and why would it not work now? Let's put the volume up a little bit, and here we go. Oh, I did put some bulbs in, so we know when it lights up. All right, here we go. Wish me luck. All right, there's no sparks. Let it warm up. Slowly. Oh! And there I see. All right. That's the local PBS station, so I hope that music is cleared. If not, it's going to be muted. But in my heart, I believe. All right. Onwards and upwards. Okay, so with that working nicely, what I want to do is I want to see how much voltage that selenium rectifier is putting out, because we're going to put a silicone unit in there and I want to get it to the same voltage. Now, the schematic says it's around about 250, 255. I'm just going to measure that to make sure it is, because the silicone is usually off by a few volts, and I will have to put a ceramic cement resistor in there, probably a 10 watt, to bring the voltage down, because that's what's happened before. Anyway, I think it's like 255 because the schematic is hard to read. So anyway, I got this hooked up to the B+ side of the selenium rectifier. There is going to be a big power surge. That's probably why those cans are rated, that power can is rated at 350. So I'm going to turn it on. Hopefully it's a station with the right music, i.e. I can show it on YouTube. But yeah, let me get my finger on the button and let's just watch this guy go. There you go. Almost 300 volts from cold, and it's settling. We got some audio, and that's a bad tube right there. That's a leaky tube. We'll fix that. We haven't checked those yet. But yeah, there we are. We're resting at about 255. So that selenium rectifier is doing its job. but we're going to put something new in there so it keeps doing its job. But yeah, that little pop there, that was a tube getting a nice voltage surge, and we have yet to check those, but yeah, 256. That's good. That's awesome. Worth the effort. Okay. Had a very interesting time replacing this guy with that guy. I'll tell you more about it. But there we have our silicone bridge rectifier. This is way overkill. This is a 10 watt. You only need 2 to be safe. You could do probably 1, but I had them in stock, and I like the through hole, as you can see why, because you can mount them. I put some rubber around there, rubber behind that, just for extra insulation. Everything's fine. As you can see, I got shrink tubing on most of it. There's a 270 ohm 5 watt cement resistor right there, because we needed to get the voltage down to get it around about 250, 255-ish. But one of the struggles, which I didn't really know about or realize, first time I've ever come across it, but you see this AC line right there, that guy, and the pink one, well, it's coming out of there because I started running out of cable, and I had to bring it out of the top of the transformer and solder another piece to get it to reach. Well, I had a bit of a funny time with this thing, because when I stripped this down, it looked like it was copper, because it was like a red orangey, and when I hooked everything up, I wasn't getting any voltage, like 20 volts, and it should be like 270 AC. Took me a while to figure it out, but basically it's a coating. I thought it was copper, but it's a coating. So I had to file the coating off to the bare metal underneath, and trust me, it was the weirdest thing ever. Never seen it, never experienced it. Took me a while to figure it out, but I got there. So yeah, we're good. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fire it up right here. So we'll go over here. There's the bump, there's the rush. We're on a PBS NPR station, so hopefully music's cleared. We're coming down. There we go.
On 91.5 KUNV.
All right, that's good. I can get away with that. I'll turn the volume down a bit. But yeah, there we are. Nice. We've got the little grass shack on, but yeah, we got 253, a little cooler, which is nice. Not much. I mean, supposed to run at 255. But yeah, very happy with that. Like I said, that whole copper wire, not copper wire, coating thing really fooled me for a while. But yeah, there we go. We turn this volume down. But yeah, we're good. Next thing is, this is the Magic Eye tube, which is burned out, but fortunately it's an EM34, right? Yeah. I have some NOS ones. I bought a bunch of these back in the day, about 6 years ago. They're quite expensive now, but I think I've got 3 left. Anyway, we'll stick that in, and yeah, we'll keep cracking on. There you go, 252, awesome.
Through the Hawaii Volcanoes National Park. On my limery, give me an islandlimery.com. Your destination,
all right.
Always paradise.
I hope that's cleared. Okay, with that done, I'm gonna turn my attention to the cabinet here. The front's really okay. It's pretty good. But the top, as we saw previously, needs some attention. I'm really hesitant to use an orbital sander on this because of the edges. As you can see there, I can't take these things off. These are weird. Well, I could take that guy off, I guess. This one could come off, but this one won't. And I'll show you why. These hinges right here, kind of recessed. I think this was just whacked in. But I can't see anywhere. It's a little loose. And I really don't want to, I mean, I just don't know how the hell I'm going to get that off. And right there is hidden. So if I use an orbital on this, it could really mess up the edges because the orbitals like to mess up the edges. Anyway, I think I'm just going to have to hand do this. So 220 grip by hand. It's going to be a little bit of work. Okay, I tried doing it by hand and I would be there for months, if not weeks, if not months. So I did go with the orbital. But as you can see, it's starting to come together. It's got to go a little bit more. I don't think this is a veneer. I think this is like one piece of wood. I'm not sure what kind of wood. But if you look at the edge here, which is great because I can go a little bit more aggressive on the sanding. Anyway, started at 220, went to 140 because I got to get through this guy, and same on there. But yeah, I think it's going to work. Okay, there it is. By no means perfect, little rustic, but at the end of the day, the price point, this is going to go very attractively, but it's way better than with the stains on there. But unfortunately, I can't go down to bare wood because then the rest of the cabinet is going to kind of look weird, and I'm not doing the whole cabinet. But anyway, go rid of those stains. So there you go. I think it will present nicely. It'll be priced very nicely for somebody who wants this kind of patina on their console. All right, more to come. Okay, back to the PE Rex. So, you can see up in here, I got the cover off, and to get it out is those screws right there, screws, nuts. It's 4 points. One over there, and of course near me. Then you got this, I think what's the round one's the audio, this is power. So now we've got to start de-threading and hooking up, unhooking cables, right? These are soldered. Obviously don't get these mixed up, that wouldn't be good. But yeah, fortunately I've got to break all this beautiful cable ties right here, stapled on. But yeah, I've got to take all this before I can get that guy out. Oh, and while I'm here, I'm going to replace this guy, which was right in there, this 20 UF. I'm pretty sure this is bipolar because it's a crossover cap. I'm going to replace it with this very much smaller 22. But yeah, we'll do that as well. Hey, now I've got different glasses on, and a flashlight. I was totally wrong. Those right there, that guy, I think it's some kind of transport screw, but if I can put this down and get my finger in there. But yeah, there's some clips there on the springs. So those have got to come off, there's 4 of them. That's what holds it down. I think this is some kind of transport screw, but I'll check that out. But anyway, those guys are the ones that have to come out. Is that coming in focus? But yeah, you can see there's kind of a clip on it. Anyway, all right, here we go. Okay, yes, there are transport screws, retainers. As you can see, you've got those out, and underneath these, you pop these out. There was probably 4 screws that came with the unit, which have now been separated to secure it. Those are those clips, 4 of those clips, and I also found down there a manual spindle for manual mode. But yeah, those are clips. All right, so there she is. I'm gonna goof around with this to see what's what. But we got some new belts. Where are they? Right here. Got these some Garrett Voice of Music. So we've got some new belts, so we've got some servicing to do. This is absolutely gorgeous, this wheel. I'll rough that up, but that is still supple and nice. It's probably real rubber. Good luck finding that. Yeah, and then there's just a lot of grease to be done. And just clean this guy up. And then we'll talk about the head shell. I've got this here. Now this is all busted up, as you can see. And if I just rush over here real quick, I got this guy from Garrett Voice of Muse, a 10-inch. It's bright white, but that's all they had in that size. I don't know how I'm gonna get it on there, but this has gotta come off. It's all broken. But yeah, it's bright white, but it'll kind of go. It's better than busted green. Okay, so there's the underside. It's pretty simple, really, and it's very, very clean. So we're going to clean up some old grease and what have you. We'll place this big ass cap with something else. I don't know what it is. It says 1.6, I think. Anyway, and look at the size of that resistor. So yeah, take that off, clean the motor, bearing cap there. The bronze bushing that's probably in there, we'll clean that up. But yeah, it's pretty straightforward right now. I'm just looking for any old grease. But yeah, the biggest problem is going to be that new cartridge in the head shell. But if anything untoward, I'll let you know. Okay, so we got the bearing carrier off. Basically, I don't know what to call bearing, but it's supposed to be a bronze bushing. But look at that, how cool is that? It's actually got a little ball bearing in there. But yeah, very, very dry. There's even a bit of grease there. I don't know how that got in, it shouldn't be grease. But anyway, so we're gonna clean that out and get some new oil in there and give that a good clean. Now the motor mounts, they're really, really good. Once again, probably real rubber and it lasts for pretty much forever. But it's good they're good because I don't know where the hell I'd find those. I'd have to retrofit something, but no, we're gonna leave those and as is. Okay, so we got to the other side of the motor. Here's the armature right here. And down there, the bronze bushing, there was a lot of green crud around that. So that was definitely slowing it down. And we're gonna see the green stuff right there. I cleaned it off, most of it. But oh yeah, there's the oil points right there. You see that? So from the top you could have oiled the felt. That needed cleaning. We'll clean around the armature itself. Also, we'll give these capstans a really good going over. We've got to eke out as much speed from this as possible, this 50, 60-year-old turntable. Now, on the capstans, they're pressed. That's a press fit. So I'm not going to mess with that, but what I will do is you can see right up in there, I put a drop of oil, and you never know what's in there. Could be some felt. I don't know, it spins a lot, so doubt it. But anyway, that's about all you can do with that. Okay, gonna stick this guy to this guy. I clean this very, very good with acetone, and this is the best stuff right here. Woolwood contact cement. Put plenty of it, but evenly all over, and then a lot of weight. Okay, so I put a bunch of weight there, some old batteries and some good batteries, but as you can see, that thing needs to set over 24 hours, so don't be tempted to lift it and have a look, because the plastic will try to warp on you with the fresh glue on there. So yeah, just leave that be. Okay, the cartridge. Doing this one-handed. So there it is. Pops out of its own carrier, which is kind of nice. And what I'm going to do is get that guy in there. It's a Fansteel P51-1 for the size of the needle, and the needle is good for 33s and 45s. So what I'm going to do is pop this guy out. I probably won't be able to do it one-handed, but I'm going to get this guy out. I'm going to have to trim these side bits right here with a grinder and somehow make some wires, solder some wires so that it connects to this right here, because that is what right there, those two flat curved edges don't know if I can show you, but they basically touch up in there. So it'd be really nice to have this guy and this guy, because the next owner can just pop this out to replace a needle if he wishes. So anyway, that's what I'm going to be doing. Okay, so I popped out the old cartridge, and you can see these plates right here rubbed up against here, and then would transfer it to there, is what I'm guessing. So somehow I'm gonna put some connections on here and either solder them to this or to that down in there and get this mounted in there somehow. I'm gonna have to build this up so that it's gonna have to be glued in. So I'm gonna have to build that up so that'll sit in there nice and flat, and then the connections to that guy. Okay, so I used the Dremel, and as you can see there, got a nice tight fit. I think what I'm going to do, see that gap right there? I'm going to put a bit of black foam in there and glue it so that keeps that that slight raked angle, as you can see right there. Also, I'm going to remove this guy. This was the moving from, I think it was different needles, 78 to 33, I think, NM. Sure to mean something in German. I think that's what it was. It would rock this to use a different needle. See, this thing will not focus very well. But yeah, you see there, it would rock it. So yeah, I'll punch that out, and then we're going to put some leads on it. Okay, in my tin of cart clips, I have these guys. So these come with a P228 from Gary at Voice of Music, and of course I save everything. So these are going to fit perfectly on there, and then we'll solder them to that guy. Okay, there we are. As you can see right there, trimmed in nicely. We did put a little bit of glue in there. It's the Watco glue, so it is removable if should you ever need to change the cartridge again, which will be for a while. And there's a wire soldered there to the spring-loaded contacts. So yeah, we'll get that in and test it out. All right, you might ask what's cooking here. Well, underneath there is a platter. So I had a bit of an issue. Take this guy off. I'll tell you about him. With the platter. And my normal way of doing things, of putting that weight all around on the other side, as you saw, which works perfectly for Zenith or VOM platter mats. But this guy would not stick, and I think because it's slightly concave, ever so slightly. So when this was flipped up and I had that weight on it, there were some slight bubbles where it wasn't making contact. So I went and got this guy. This is a 10-pound flat weight, and it's actually going to come in handy for future platters because I use those other battery weights. This was 18 bucks delivered from Amazon. Yeah, perfect. And then I use this because the base here, my favorite skillet, that circumference right there was actually perfect in there. So that's what I did. Let it set overnight. We are lovely and flat and good to go. And that is going to be my go-to weight from now on. Okay, we're done here. We replaced this guy, if you remember, that big old, it probably might have been okay because it's kind of like a polyester, I think. But anyway, we put a brand new fan capacitor in there. These things are great. 1.5 UF, perfect, and 450 volts AC. I use these on tape machines like the Sony reel-to-reels and what have you. They're really good. But yeah, look at that, perfect fit. So it's got a brand new motor cap in there. And yeah, let's get this thing back into the console. Okay, The big guy right here, all wrapped up, all gift wrapped. We're going to take this out because we know that foam is shot. The foam surround right there, so we're going to desolder, and then as you can see is 4 bolts right there, nuts. I'm leaving them in, but I will check them resistance on those and the electrostatics. But right now I'm going to concentrate on this guy. Okay, there she is. I'm gonna try and preserve this. I guess I should put it back on. I guess it's a dust cover. Let's see if I can do this one-handed. Probably not. Just gonna show you. Okay, it's coming off. All right, we'll save that. And there's that lovely funny size. It's not a funny size, but I think it's short 10. We'll measure it and find out. But yeah, there you go. I'll try and save this. I'll put it back on actually. Usually this just falls apart because it's rotted out. But like I said, this guy was stored really nicely. Okay, shake it off. There you go. There's that nasty foam. Look at that. All crumbled and gone. So yeah, as you can see, the paper's completely come away from the mount, obviously. And we're going to make a new one with this stuff right here. It's I think it's 1/4 inch foam. There's a word for this foam, UVA foam or something like that. It was clean on that side. But anyway, we're going to make a new one. I did a video on this a long time ago.
All right. How are you? I wanted to share something for Grundig aficionados. That a solution I come up with these when these 10.5-inch woofers, when the foam rots out, and they pretty much all rot out because they're from 1962 in the 50s. This guy came out of this thing, which is a restoration and service for a local customer, and sounds awesome, by the way. But these speakers are always rotted. These are the 10.5-inch woofers, and I've actually thrown these away because I couldn't figure out how to fix them in the past. And they're a weird size. Like I said, 10.5. Most modern speaker replacements are even numbers, 8, 9s, 10s, 11s, what have you, but no, 10.5, and that's 9. So I thought, well, I got to make my own surround here. And I got some 4mm EVA foam, and with using this guy, which I've purchased ages ago, it's a Japanese circle cutter. I use this to make turntable mats out of felt, cork, rubber, when you can't get a decent replacement. So I thought, well, why don't I cut my own, which I did, and clean this whole edge up here. This all needs to be cleaned up nice. And then use this stuff, which is weldwood contact cement. It's a little flexible, but it really bonds nicely. And you can stick your new foam surround on. I've already done one, put it back in the console. It sounded great. But I just want to share that with Grundig people who've come across this problem. And I'm sure there's many. But yeah, don't throw these away. You can make your own. And good luck. And thank you for watching. All the best. Bye-bye.
Okay, we got our new gasket on. We'll get it back in there. All right, we got it back in. Unfortunately, I couldn't use the gift wrapping. It was starting to fall apart and bits were going everywhere, and the underside would have been just, anyway. But yeah, looks very clean and nice in there. Everything checked out. So yeah, onwards and upwards. Okay, Bluetooth. So this is the Bluetooth kit I use right here. I use them on everything. They're very, very, very good and cost effective. And I want to Bluetooth this Grundig. Now, it has a tape input. That's a 3-pin. think they call it a 3-pin DIN. Good luck finding a 3-pin DIN to a 3.5 millimeter audio, which plugs into this guy. There is a guy, an audio store, vintage audio store that sells that cable, but I think it's like $49 plus shipping and tax. That's a lot of money for a cable. So the enclosed cable, cut the end off there, and we're going to solder that to this guy right here, and will be Bluetooth installed. Hey, we're all done here. Got the turntable in with the new mat all service cartridge, what have you, recapped, new silicone bridge rectifier, bulbs, Magic Eye EM34. But yeah, we just talked about that cartridge, what have you. So yeah, all done, and Bluetooth, don't forget. Before we leave, the automatic spindle, which I'll show later, working in a separate video. I'm gonna put some felt around here. Got some sticky felt coming. I'll make a circle because the rubber elastic band green thing was perished. So I'll put that on there to finish it off. But yeah, I'll do a separate video of it working with its playing the records and what have you. And also, this is the last console for a while. We are moving premises, as you can see. Got empty walls there. We are moving premises. Can't say yet, but we've decided to move from Nevada. So this will be the last video for a little while. And until I do it again, I want to thank you very much, all of you, for watching. I only do this, well, I used to do it for fun, but I think I really do it now because the channel demands it, and you guys, which is awesome. But yeah, this one was cool. I do love these 80s, very iconic mid-century style. So once again, thank you so much, and I hope this music is cleared.